BioShock Infinite is hands down my favorite BioShock game of the franchise. I literally beat this game in one playthrough. I beat the whole thing in one playthrough. Anyways, look what I came across. I came across a little article that Teddy Atlas had said. He says, Wilder doesn't know how to fight, exposed as for no fundamentals. And I'm going to be quoting what Eddie Atlas said. All right. What he had showed other times, quite frankly, but he didn't pull it out of the fire with that great power this time. He showed that he doesn't know how to fight. And a lot of people say, Teddy, did you just say that? Yeah, he's a millionaire, multimillionaire. He's had 10 title defenses, was the world champion. He didn't know how to fight, but he had that one thing that is not made. It's born, the power to punch. And it was a great eraser. And you know, it takes care of a lot of sins. And it did take care of a lot of sins for him. Even in the Ortiz fight, he was losing 6 rounds to nothing. Let's not forget that's against a 40-year-old. Yeah, a southpaw. Yeah, a solid guy that had fought in the Cuban national team, amateur team, which is, of course, a great amateur team, but he's 40 years old, and he had knocked him out in previous fights. And again, he's losing 6 rounds to nothing, but the hammer was there. This time it wasn't there. He was exposed again for having no fundamentals. Really, none of the rudimental things that you need usually to be a top fighter, and definitely to have longevity. And you know, when the power is not there anymore, your career comes to a halt. Well, at least it comes to a pause. It's at a pause right now. What do you do now to get past that pause? You learn how to fight. And that's not going to happen. I mean, that's going to happen from now to July. And they're probably not going to bring in somebody new for the possibility. And we don't know if it's all the trainer's fault, or he's not a good student, or he's arrogant. And you know, somebody who has the great gift of punching, it's a great curse that goes with it. Sometimes you don't have to learn anything else. Sometimes you don't have to develop yourself in other areas, so you get away with it for as long and you're winning. Who's going to argue with you? So, as you can see, Teddy Atlas basically said that, you know, Deontay Wilder he basically said what anybody with common sense would say about Deontay Wilder. You know, Deontay Wilder became a champion. He became very successful really just off his punching power, not because of his boxing skills, right? It's not like it had nothing to do with his boxing skills, his boxing ability, his boxing IQ. It had to do with his punching power, right? And he even mentions that, you know, Ortiz was schooling him. Basically, he was winning every round against him, and that punch was able to help, you know, basically save him. And that's been the case for Deontay Wilder's entire career. At least his reign, whenever he was in there where he was getting outboxed against guys, his right hand would always save the day. Even in the first Tyson Fury fight, the reason that fight got a draw was because Wilder was able to land his right hand twice and drop Fury. And had that not happened, Fury would have won the first fight. So, you know, it just goes to show you that not just boxing fans, you know, people think like, oh, boxing fans who are supposedly against Deontay Wilder or don't like Deontay Wilder, they're just saying these things because they don't like Deontay Wilder. But you got people out there like Teddy Atlas, who is a trainer, a Hall of Fame trainer, saying stuff like, you know, Wilder doesn't know how to fight. You know, Wilder is very limited. He even said Wilder needs to learn how to fight. And he suggested that Wilder should get a new trainer. But like I said, he said that is how much can you learn from now to July if they fight in July for the trilogy. You know, you can't really learn that much. It takes years to get good in boxing. I mean, I feel that Deontay Wilder has the puncher's curse, where because he always had that big punch, he never really focused on getting his other attributes better. You know, he just focused on trying to improve his right hand because he was like, oh, I can knock. He even said it, you know, in several times. He's like, listen, man, I could change the fight in any second of the round. I could change Wilder even said it himself that, you know, he could knock out his opponents. It could be round. He could lose 9 rounds in a row and he could knock a dude out. It could be round 12. He could have lost every single round and all it takes is one punch. So Wilder, I believe, uh, had that basically puncher's curse where they believe that that because they're big punchers, they could just knock out everybody they fight, and they depend so much on that punch, that they don't focus on other aspects of their games. And I think that's what happened to Deontay Wilder, and that's why he never really developed as a fighter when it came to like other skills. I mean, he does. I think he's developed his jab a lot from when he first turned pro, but there's more to just a jab. But he does have a good, solid left jab. But like Teddy Atlas said, he basically became a millionaire without even having boxing fundamentals, right? Wilder's one of those heavyweights that is like weird, because normally when you look at fighters, they normally have at least some type of talent, right? Maybe they're not big punchers or something like that, but they have some type of talent that you could look at and be like, all right, this guy's doesn't have the best defense, but